and welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen. Today we have a reading for you about somebody who has a difficult realization about a connection where they didn't necessarily approach things in the most respectful way. And because they have disrespected or distanced themselves from this friend or romantic interest, they feel that they've also, by extension, disrespected themselves. They have not done right by a principle of theirs, or they have not acted as they would advise others or as they would like to be seen as consistently doing. So they feel like they've let themselves down, but they also feel this sense of regret because they haven't been able to build or make this connection stronger. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of one shan time. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and if you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com, and it's in the description box for you, as is information on how to be a member, as well as how to find my candles on Etsy. So let's dive in. I think we'll start with the Pulp Tarot. What else do we have? The Lovers, the Hierophant, and Empress in the reverse. I know I had a choice, and if I had listened to my principles or the rules that I generally had for myself, then I wouldn't have lost this person. This is someone who feels like they failed emotionally to manage a situation or communicate in an honest way, and that's why they haven't done right by themselves or this person. So they simultaneously see themselves as the Hierophant and the Empress in the reverse. Normally I have these strong principles. Normally I do things the right way. But for whatever reason, I disappointed myself. I gave in to temptation, or, I wasn't honest with you about where I was that night. And now they're dealing with some disappointment in themselves. Knight of Cups and High Priestess, both in the reverse. So this is sadness, frustration, moodiness, because I knew better. I know I should have acted differently. Queen of Wands and the Two of Wands in the reverse. Yeah. I feel like I took the wrong path, and generally I do pretty well. So this is somebody who's made a mistake. King of Wands in the reverse and the Two of Cups. Regarding this Two of Cups, they feel like they're mad at themselves. So they're wondering, what can I say? Or how can I organize a conversation with you so that we can address this issue? Seven of Wands and the Ten of Wands in the reverse. This is difficult for them to stop thinking about. Maybe initially they were able to keep busy or to interact with other people, or maybe they were trying to find a new job. But now this is somebody who's like, I can't help it. I think about this all the time. And I feel like I did the wrong thing. We might see the Five of Cups. This is someone who feels like they need to be honest. All right. This is What's the News? Why do they feel like they need to be honest? Why do they feel like they need to be honest? They're paranoid. They feel like maybe this will come back to haunt them. They want to reestablish the balance or the peaceful connection that the two of you had, even if that was friendship. They've been thinking about the memories that they have with you. This is someone who wants you in their inner circle. Someone who sees you as trustworthy, but they feel like they haven't done right by you. They're avoiding getting caught, acting shady. And this has to do with how they feel about you. They need to have this heart-to-heart conversation. Probably say, okay, you got me. I'm actually in love. Or, you know what? I said that I was exclusive with you, but then I went and hung out with the ex. There's something here they're nervous about. They don't want it to come out. We got to figure out how serious it is. All right. This is the Hocus Pocus Tarot. What else is this story about? I'm seeing the one that has the phone number written down on a piece of paper, and I feel like that was the Six of Cups. Maybe we'll find out. Five of Lightning or Five of Swords in the reverse. The Six of Potions. Well, there's the Six of Cups, so it's not that one. And the Eight of Candles. The Eight of Candles would be the Eight of Wands. So in order to avoid causing a problem or this being an argument later on down the road, I need to tell you about what happened. I think this is someone saying, I gotta let you know that the ex reached out to me. Or I did something that was a little bit immature. Yeah, this is someone who's confessing. I did this thing, I'm not proud of it, but I want to make sure that I fix it before it becomes a bigger issue. High Priestess, Temperance in the reverse, because I know it would cause you to question whether or not I'm committed or interested in just being with you. So I feel like this has to do with a third party. You know, that person asked me for my number, but I shut them down. Or this person was making me feel uncomfortable, but I was at work, so I couldn't just like walk away. Two of Lightning or Two of Swords in the reverse. We just had the Two of Swords in the reverse right here as well. Yeah, this is someone who's saying, okay, it's not going to be easy. I don't like that this is how things happened, and it's a little risky to confess what happened. But if I don't, I might ruin this friendship or this relationship. The Chariot in the reverse. Okay, so remember I said I didn't know if it was on the Six of Cups, and then I pulled the Six of Cups. Guess what's clarifying the Six of Cups? The card that I was seeing, the one with the phone number on it. It's the Lovers. It is number 6, but just not, it's like in the Major Arcana. Wow, okay. Yeah, I feel like we have somebody who was not quick to say, hey, I'm already in a relationship, or somebody who kind of flirted with the ex a little bit, or wasn't as stand up about this commitment to you as they should have been. So we have the Chariot in the reverse and the Lovers. The thing they did wrong was entertain someone or not like shut it down as soon as somebody was expressing interest in them. So with the Knight of Candles or Knight of Wands in the reverse, it's like, okay, so can I really trust that that's how you approach things? They're feeling foolish. I should have just ignored the message. I should have walked away. I should have hung up the phone. But they also realize that not talking about this is just going to be more problematic. So I can't lie about it. I have to confess that, you know, I did something I'm not proud of, or I wish I'd handled it a different way. But rather than risk you finding out that I've been hiding this from you, I'm just going to tell you what happened. I know it might make you question whether or not you should continue to be with me, but that's what I'm seeing. That I have to be honest with you. They just don't feel like there's a choice in the matter. And I feel like that's probably true. All right, let's see. What are we gonna go with? This is the Pause Tarot. What else do we have, please? And in case you're all wondering, this is pre-recorded. It's kind of sad for me to do them pre-recorded because I enjoy the interaction with you all. So since I can't say hi to you individually, consider this a hello, how you doing? You look great today. What else do we have? Three of Cups in the reverse and the Star. The Hierophant and Judgment. Yeah, someone paid me attention, somebody, hit on me, or this ex came back around, slid into the DMs, and I did not shut it down as quickly as I should, or maybe I was a little bit slow to mention that, by the way, I'm in a relationship right now. So we have someone addressing that issue. Maybe I need to block that person. Maybe I need to tell them, hey, I really should have told you I'm in a relationship. But I do feel like this is someone saying, I'm going to have this conversation with you. I'm going to make sure that you know where I'm coming from because I don't want you to feel like I'm hiding something from you. Six of Swords, Strength, and the King of Wands. I'm proud of this person. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's your person. But we have someone who sees the only way for me to manage this situation that I've kind of created for myself that could risk whether or not this relationship makes it is by anticipating that it's probably going to come out and being the person who stands up and apologizes for that before you find out about it, right? And I think that's what they do. I'm going to be honest. The King of Wands, that's somebody who's about action. Queen of Swords, telling the truth. Judgment, knowing that, there are consequences for doing things the wrong way. They want to feel good about how they handle this instead of worried about it. So they're going to tell you about this Queen of Wands, somebody who was like, or, hey, baby. This is someone who really did make an effort at trying to have some naked time with the King of Wands. And again, King of Wands could have handled it differently, but I also don't think the King of Wands was interested. It's more so like, this is awkward, or what do I do? Kind of like a little bit of ineptitude, to be honest. But it could be misconstrued as betrayal. So hopefully this conversation goes well. It's like, I don't want to start a fight, so I'm going to tell you what happened beforehand. And if I come clean about what was said, then maybe you'll see that I'm not, disrespecting our relationship. I just didn't know how to handle that situation. Or I realize now I could have handled it better, and here's what I would have done differently. Here's what I would have changed. This is the Energy Oracle. What else do we have, please? Woman holding a coin, carrying connections, and Healer of the Ages. The Healer of the Ages card is one of my favorites because it does talk about somebody who is kind of like that hermit energy, invested in working on themselves and able to deal with accountability, which definitely seems to be exhibited in this reading so far. I know that I could have handled things differently. I don't want to risk this relationship. So I'm going to come clean. I'm going to say, here's what really happened. And, let the chips fall where they may. Maybe this person decides they don't want to be with me anymore because of how I handled it. But I'm at least going to, stand up to whatever those consequences are. I'm not going to run away from them. And I think that's the right choice. So they go from tiptoeing and avoiding to, let's just deal with it. Let's talk about it. stress, family, and ecstasy. Interesting. Turbulence, tension, arguments. This interaction could cause problem, could threaten what somebody wants as far as a future. Maybe there's already a child. Maybe there's a child on the way. Maybe there's just been discussions of, hey, I think you're the one and I want to start a family with you. Maybe there's problems because of family stresses that pushed someone to want a little bit of emotional support outside of the relationship and now they're regretting it. Whatever it was, we have someone who's accepting, I did something I probably shouldn't have done, or I let it go a little bit further than I should have, and I feel like I need to be honest so you know that I changed my mind. Know that I'm not trying to hide it from you. Depth, awareness, importance, value. Silence, frozen, no words, stonewall, and foundation. But this is someone who's looking at the choices, looking at this situation they've gotten themselves into, and realizing just how important the person they're in a relationship is to them. And I do feel like they block or they tell this person who has hit on them, I'm not interested, I'm in a relationship, I could never do that to this person. I know I was like flirting with you for a little bit, but the reality is I want to be good to this person that I've chosen. Be good to the person that I'm in a relationship with. So it's like I flirt with it a little bit, but I don't know that this is necessarily somebody who's actually out here cheating. I feel like it's more so like I thought about it. And then I was like, no. I want to choose the relationship that I have. Yeah, only you. I'm devoted to the person that I'm in a relationship with, and I can't be tempted. But I need to apologize to you because I did kind of like for a second there think that maybe it was something that I could do. Or I did act in a way that I don't think was respectful of you, and I'm sorry. So they're being honest. I would give this person a high five. They don't know how their partner's going to react. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you what happened. I feel like it's the right thing to do. You might think that that's like really responsible or mature of me, but you also might get really mad at me, right? You also might lose your temper or decide that this relationship is over. So they are a little bit scared. And yet still confident that if they say nothing at all, that is just going to be worse for the relationship. What else do we have? This is the Love Tarot, which I don't really like the name of it because it's not tarot. Will you listen? There's so many things I want to say to you, but will you hear me all the way out? Will you believe me? That makes a ton of sense, right? Because they're going to say, I like dipped my toe in that pool, but I did not go for a swim. I did not let it get too serious. But is that already too far for you? Is that already a deal breaker? They are going to explain, things have been stressful, and I feel like whoever their partner is, the partner knows. Like, yeah, I get it. You've had some difficult things going on, King of Wands. But that doesn't mean that you should be doing this, right? They're like, I'm sorry. I know I was, maybe doing a little bit of escapism. You're mysterious. I can never seem to figure you out. Sometimes I feel like you're hiding something from me, and I never really know where I stand with you. Perhaps this truth comes out because some conversation makes it obvious to the King of Wands that their partner's already picked up on some sort of tension or problem between the two of you, and it's like, can we just talk about it? Like, why are you acting weird? Why is it that you're anxious? We have, this isn't goodbye. I don't want to walk away, but it's what's best for me and us right now. This isn't goodbye. We will be together again soon. So it could be that the King of Wands hears upon their confession that the partner that they've maybe been slightly disrespectful towards, right? That they need a little bit of space. They need to think about what's going on. We have, you hurt me. Everything that happened hurt me so much. I need more time to heal. Jealousy. I'm very jealous and I can barely stand it. Yeah. So the conversation is rather tense, and this King of Wands might be a little bit upset to see that instead of like, yay, thank you for being honest with me, it's I need some space, and I need to think about what you've told me and how I want to respond to that. And that makes the King of Wands a little bit nervous. Like, are you about to tell me that it's over, or has my honesty helped me to avoid that fate? What else? This is the Tarot of the Cat People. Rejuvenation in the reverse. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Five of Pentacles in the upright. I'd rather see it in the reverse. So now we have somebody who's regretting it. You know, well, I was honest. I thought you would appreciate that, but now it seems like maybe I'm going to lose you after all. And that little flirtation or disrespectful step that I took might be all that it takes for this partner of mine to decide that they're leaving. So we have someone in regret, feeling very foolish, feeling like, you know, they really messed up. Three of Wands, Hanged Man, waiting with a sense of suspension. Have you ever had that where you're waiting for someone to get back to you, or maybe you're waiting on a negotiation for a job offer, and until you hear that information or that update, you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do, feeling restless, like pacing back and forth. We have someone who feels like they can't really do anything until they know what the answer is from their partner after they've confessed that they were, you know, maybe flirting with someone that they shouldn't have been talking to. Queen of Wands in the reverse. Jealousy. I've made my partner jealous. They need some time to think about it, but they're clearly hurt. And now this King of Wands is basically saying, I regret. I don't know if I should have told this person. Maybe I should have kept this secret. Maybe I made things worse because they'll only look at me as somebody who makes bad decisions, or they'll always wonder if they can trust me going forward now that I've said this thing to them that I could have just kept to myself. The Moon in the reverse. Bad intentions. Eight of Swords. Feeling trapped by those decisions that this King of Wands made in the past. Wondering if this Ten of Cups or this happy relationship that they had, I guess, kind of put on the line when they made this decision, is that relationship actually over? Are you leaving me, or can we like make nice? Can we like learn from this and move on? Three of Pentacles in the reverse. Ace of Wands in the reverse, and the Nine of Cups in the reverse. So I do feel like this King of Wands is trying to make certain that the person they were flirting with is completely blocked. No chance of communicating. Maybe even offered to like change their phone number. But now the King of Wands is wondering, like, was that enough? Have I not offered enough to show you that I'm not interested in that? I'm not interested in anybody else. I'm just interested in you. Only you. So maybe they're contemplating some big gesture here. Like, maybe I need to really go big or go home. What do we want? We're going to go with the Golden Art Nouveau. What else? What else? The King of Swords. The Truth Teller. Ace of Swords. Page of Wands. So I've said my piece. I've told you what happened. I'm nervous about how it's going to go, but I would be more nervous or more anxious if I had to worry about you finding this out later on and then explaining myself not having been the reason you found out. So they're questioning it, like, was it the right choice? King of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, and their partners thinking about it, trying to get in touch with their intuition and make sure they make the right decision. Is this a person who has realized the error of their ways and is willing to change their behavior and worth a second chance? Or is this somebody who's incapable of commitment or doesn't really want to have the things that were talked about? Because it does seem like family was mentioned. Trying to decide, am I actually going to invest in this? Is this still somebody that I want to be with? Hermit in the reverse. Did they make a mistake or is this a character flaw? So I think this is, okay, I'm willing to have a conversation, but it's like, I'm going to ask you some questions and see why you did what you did. And from there, I'll decide whether or not there's anything else between the two of us. So I think there's going to be hope for this King of Wands, that they can turn this around. They need to demonstrate after a period of healing or, you know, some separation here. The King of Wands is basically being told, you can tell me a little bit more about the situation. I want to be able to ask you whatever I need to, and then I will decide whether or not I can get over it and I can forgive you for that. All right, I hope that helps, and thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next reading. Toodles!